So hello and welcome to the Maths Guide, and today now we're not going to have any exercises as it's Sunday, our day off, but I'd just like to have a little review, just a video review of what we did last week. Now in general, what we're doing is we're figuring out how to do something to get an answer, so we know how to add and subtract numbers and we get a particular answer. What I usually do then is I ask, what do I have to add in order to get a particular answer? And that's a different type of question where you kind of have to create a formula and then you use the formula. Now the benefit of having a formula is that when it comes to strange numbers that you're not used to, like integers, it's actually much easier to answer the question that you want to answer, because it's hard to be intuitive about integers and then later decimals and fractions, but you have a good idea about how to work with small whole numbers, so then you can create a formula to use that, and then you can use integers, then you can use that formula and apply that formula to get the answer that you want. And this week later on we'll be also learning how to add expressions together, not just numbers but expressions that we've come across. And then we're also going to be asking the same sort of question, what expression do I have to add in order to get a particular result? So remember, that's going to be happening a lot in maths. We're going to figure out how to do something, and then we're going to ask, what do I need to do in order to get a particular answer? But anyway, let's have a look at last week's exercises. Now the easiest way to look at the exercises is to go down to the Saturday where all of the exercises are, and I'm going to have a look at the worksheet for this week. Okay, so this brings us to the worksheets. I'm going to put them in 5 columns so I can see them more clearly. So let's open the worksheet and have a look at the type of questions that we had. Now I can see this quite clearly on my screen. Hopefully you're looking at this on a screen yourself and not on your phone, because it might be a little difficult for you to see what's happening here. But hopefully you'll have a big enough screen that you can see what's happening, and we'll see what happens. So John has 7 more apples than Mary. We're looking at question 1. And we're just basically adding them together, but we're seeing what the formula is to get the answer. We count how many Mary has and add how many more John has, and that gives you the answer you're looking for. So there's a formula at the bottom, tells you what to do every time. How many Mary has and add how many more John has. You can do that with a calculator, or you can do that in your head. Let's have a look at the next type of question that we got. We said John had 1 more apple than Mary. And then if John has 13 apples, how many does Mary have? So we're asking, what do we have to add in order to get this 13? But we come up with a formula, and our formula is how many John has less how many more, because this is what you're told. You're told to use 1 more and you've 13 apples. So you use the formula, the number of apples John has, 13, and you subtract how many more he has, which is 1. Now obviously you don't need to use the formula for questions like this where it's clear to you what to do. You know that if John has 13 apples and he has 1 more than Mary, then Mary has 12. However, the formula becomes more useful later on. This is a similar type of question. You're told how many apples John has and how many Mary has, and you have to find out how much more John has than Mary. And that's a straightforward question, I think, for all of those. However, when you get to questions where you've got positive and negative numbers, it becomes much more important to start using a formula. So we're told in this question, that Moscow is 11 degrees hotter than Leningrad, and we know the temperature of Leningrad. We want to know what temperature is Moscow. Moscow is 11 degrees hotter, so I would add that to the temperature of Leningrad. So we have a formula. The temperature in Leningrad plus how much hotter Moscow is. So it's 7 plus 11. In this question, it's 3 plus 18. In this question here, it's 5 plus 3. In this question, it's 2 plus negative 8. And then you know that when I add 2 and negative 8, that's 2 less 8. Sorry, it's 2 and minus 8. The same way like 2 people got on a bus and 8 people got off a bus, you would have 6 people off the bus. So the answer then would be minus 6. So that's how you do this question. We kind of have a formula here and we just apply it. Again, that's not too bad. However, when we get to this question, Moscow is 11 degrees hotter than Leningrad. If Moscow is 18 degrees, what temperature is Leningrad? In this question, these are okay numbers, so we can see straight away Moscow's 18, and that's 11 more than, let me think, it's 7. However, if we've got a formula, we know that we can just say the temperature in Moscow and you take away how much hotter it is. So it's going to be it's going to be 18 minus 11. This question is going to be minus 6 minus 2, which is minus 8. In this question, it's going to be minus 3 minus 4, which is minus 7. This question is going to be 15 minus 12, which is 13. This question, that's a normal question. That's a normal question, that's a normal question, normal question, and normal question, and that's sort of a normal question as well. Now, unfortunately, in this particular item, we didn't end up with something where you could have, in some of the questions that you got, you were told you ended up with minus 1, and then you'd have to subtract a negative number. And all you had to remember is, if you're subtracting a negative number, that's the same as adding it. Let's have a look at what happened in this question. We knew our formula was the temperature in Moscow less the temperature in Leningrad. If you read the question, you should be able to figure out that that's the formula you need, but in this question, you're given the formula. So it's the temperature in Moscow minus 6 less the temperature in Leningrad minus 8. So that's minus 6 take away minus 8, which is the same as minus 6 plus 8, which gives us plus 2. And that's how you did those questions. Finally, we were asked questions where we weren't told what the formula was and you had to figure out the formula. So what temperature is it in France? Well, the formula for the temperature in France the temperature in France is 1 degree less than Ireland. So you'd have, the formula would be temperature in Ireland less how much less it is in France. Less this value here, less that difference. So temperature in France would be the temperature in Ireland 0 less 1 degree. So it's 0 take away 1. So this formula would be Ireland take away this one. Again, the formula is minus 8 take away minus 11. What would you get if you get that? When you take away a minus number, it's the same as adding, and we end up with a minus 8 and a plus 11. Like 8 people got off the bus and 11 people got on the bus, and that would leave you with plus 3. So the temperature in France, it's 11 degrees, is plus 3 degrees. Now the question here is very strange. You would never say it's minus 11 degrees less than Ireland. You would always say it's 11 degrees more than in Ireland. But the point of this question was simply that you'd work out a formula and you would apply it. So that is a very strange sort of question. Just remember, you're being asked to use a formula and you're applying it. So that might find that very confusing. So my apologies for making it so confusing. So minus 4 degrees more means 4 degrees less, and then you just have to apply the formula the right way around. So perhaps the easiest way to do these questions is to think, okay, minus 4 degrees more, that means 4 degrees less. So France is 4 degrees less, so it's minus 7 less 4 degrees, and you get minus 11. So these are quite confusing questions. The questions are different, so sometimes it says more and sometimes it says less, so you have to watch out for that. So you could work out the formula and figure it out, or perhaps you could just, every time you see a minus number, just think that's the opposite direction. So minus 1 degrees less means the temperature in France is 1 degree more, and you could work it out that way if you liked. Okay, and these other questions are similar, and then we get to the idea of using direction. John is 54 meters above ground and is traveling down at 5. So you're asked how far above ground is he? So above ground is our positive direction when we're asked how far above ground he is. So 54 meters above ground is plus 54. Traveling downwards at 5 means you're taking away 5 every second. So that would be plus 54 minus 5 times 0. Okay? This question, how far above ground? So above ground is positive. 38 meters above ground means plus 38 because above ground is our positive direction here. All right, downwards is minus 3. So it's plus 38 minus 3 times 17. In this question, you're asked how far below ground he is. So below ground is our positive direction now. It's very strange, isn't it? So 62 meters below ground, that's a plus 62 below, traveling downwards at 1 meter. So he's going even more down. So it's 62 plus 1 times 26. This question, how far below ground? So it's 19 plus 1 by 21. How far above ground? Well, he's 79 meters below ground, so that's minus 79 plus 7 times 4. How far above ground is he? So he's plus 13. Oh dear, this is a silly question. Traveling downwards at minus 6. I should never have said that. That's a problem there. So that's, but remember, if you're going downwards at minus 6, that means upwards at plus 6. So this is a silly question, but you could figure it out that above ground is positive, so that's plus 13 plus 6 times 3. How far north? Okay, north is plus, so 54 plus 54 north minus 7 times 13. How far north? Plus 25. Again, traveling south at minus 4 is traveling north at plus 4. It's a very strange question. You would never ever say this in English, but just getting used to mixing positive and negative numbers all the time, or remembering that traveling south at minus 4 is the same as traveling north at plus 4. So, how far north? She is plus 25 plus 4 by 26. How far north? Plus 5 minus 2 by 28. Having a look at this again. How far north? You could think of that as plus 25 minus negative 4 times 26. This one, how far below ground? It's 18 plus another 7 times 7. Okay, that's very, very confusing. I just want you to work to try and figure that out, and it's easiest to see that. So look at the question. That's my positive direction, so that's plus 25. That's the other direction, so it's minus. But this is two minuses, so it's back to a plus again. So yeah, this is a crazy hard week, and some of these things can be very confusing, but you'll be able to figure it out. Just keep working away, and if you keep trying the exercises, it'll give you the answers. Okay? Let the variable n be equal to the values 8, 1, and 3. So now we have a formula, minus 2 plus 11n, and that just means n is 8. We put that in the formula. You get minus 2 plus 11 times 8. You put the value 1 in, you get minus 2 plus 11 times 1. You put the value 3 in, you get minus 2 plus 11 times 3. And you give your answers separated by commas. Okay? So lots of hard questions that you were doing this week. Lots of extremely confusing questions. But if you're going north, then positive is north, south is negative, but minus gives you a plus again. Okay, so that's some crazy stuff for you to mess your head up. But sometimes it's easier to go back to the numbers that you understand and use a formula. And when you have a formula, you can just stick the values into your calculator and figure it out. But hopefully, once you've practiced this lots and lots of times, which you will, because you'll be practicing it again this week, as well as doing your new questions, you'll be able to understand everything. So I wish you the very best of luck. And I know it's a struggle. This is a struggle to answer these questions. But the whole point is that when you struggle, you really get your brain to work hard. And because you're getting feedback all the time on whether you're right or wrong, you'll be able to figure out how to do it right. And if you ask your friends and they help you and you can work together, you will be able to get these answers and you will be really successful, I promise you, when you get to the end of this. Okay, so the very best of luck with that and the very best of luck this week, and enjoy.